Hello, everyone. Welcome at our DevSync on Monday. We'll share updates from the whole team from last week and plans for the immediate future. And the first one today is Shamil.
Okay. Last week, I fixed the remaining comments and merged the persistence networking parameters PR. I fixed a small bug for the networking crate that prevented the desktop version to build. I also implemented and fixed PR comments for pieces verification on DSN sync. And I started working on the second part of the networking parameters persistence that will change the address bootstrapping algorithm. My plan for this week is to finish altering the networking parameters. After that, I will probably start fixing a bug from a community member or start researching a new DSN sync algorithm. That's it.
Okay, makes sense to me at least. Any questions, comments from the team?
Yeah, just Shamil, what's the document you've been using for your research, where you track all that on the DSN sync and the DSN itself?
My main source of that is Notion page for DSN sync and history, I believe.
Okay. Could you just shoot me a link to that, please?
Sure. Okay.
Thank you.
That's relatively old link. Okay, Alexei, you're next.
So I was working, I was busy with GitHub runners. Linux connected fine, Windows connected as well, but most problems comes from Mac. It was unable to connect because of it's already triggered with older version, and I think I will have to reset it manually to continue working with it. Also, I'm upgrading our pipelines to have all these workers enabled organization-wide.
I saw that there was a pull request for the monorepo with that, and CI failed because there were some packages missing. Is there a way to install the same packages as in official GitHub Actions workers, so we don't have that incompatibility?
I still working on this, so I have to find out, because usually it's not okay to have some public runners for public repos. For example, if someone doing something, for example, forking, and if it's triggers some pull requests, runners will work, and it could be some problems. But maybe there is a workaround, and one of them could be to do something, most of the things in private, but to have sync in public as well. So there is a few ways to do that now, and I guess when I solve problems with Mac, I will be able to do it, because how it works, it usually sees, for example, ARM and Linux, and it runs on it specifically. And what job takes another job, which needs to be run on virtual machines, on GitHub machines, actually won't work because of that, and you have to choose some of them, or specify it directly in the action with ifs. So
Okay, I think we can go into that on the core protocol sync. Seems to be a little bit more involved than I expected.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions from the team about this? All right. Serge, what about you?
I was working on Subspace desktop as usual. So last week earlier, I submitted a PR to add Pinia store, and it was merged. After that, I was working on the error component. Initially, we planned it as model, but after Nazar comments on the PR, we end up having it as a full screen page. And yeah, it's currently in review. After this PR is merged, I will start working on updater probably. or code documentation.
Okay. Any comments about that? All right, Daria, you're next on my screen.
Well, I kept working with the spec since the updating the previous documented the state of the code is finished. So what I'm doing now is I'm merging some of the other research documents present in Notion updated spec for the future. So I would like, so I kind of finished the first draft and I shared it in the repo. And so if you or Jeremiah wants to take a look at that, it'd be appreciated. Not sure what much more I can do there.
There are some connection issues. What repository do you mean?
The blockchain project.
Sorry, you're disappearing for me.
Well, then I will just message you about that. Sorry, maybe my connection is not good.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of those docs either, Daria. If you could, like, if you do an update on something like that you'd like us to review, just tag us. There's so many messages; it's hard for me just to follow every channel. So if there's anything you ever need me to look at personally, just make sure to tag me or tag Nazar in Slack for that, please.
Okay. Yeah, I just put it there like 2.
Okay, thank you. Lu Cheng?
Okay, so last week, one thing I was working on is the primary block import throttling to pause the block import when the executors and those processes like kind of slow. The PR is pending for the review. For the other time, I was mostly occupied with the domain discussion with Matt and Jeremiah. Okay, going forward this week, let's see what I can do as the domains meetings continues. Yeah, that's my activities.
Okay, makes sense to me. Comments from the team? All right, Ozgan, you're next.
All right. So last week I finalized the upgrade dependencies pull request because that was necessary in order to have a node restart, which was a reintroduction of the feature of node restart we previously had, but it was buggy back then. And that PR took a little bit of long time to fix all the issues because the upstream issue was not fully mature yet for the fix of the bug. So we did some workarounds for finishing it. Now it works, and we have to-dos when the Substrate will have a more elegant solution. We have the code ready for changing our solution. And also, after merging the node restart PR, I fixed some other bugs on the workflow, and Nazar also helped me fixing the biggest bug that were preventing us to have that. And now only one bug remained, which is macOS signing. It might be because of something else related to keys, but Nazar thinks otherwise, because it works in monorepo. Maybe the keys in monorepo and desktop repo are not the same. I don't know. We have to inspect. Other than that, recorded a demo for the upcoming Subspace desktop meeting, and yeah, studied some of the consensus that I didn't know yet. So it was some cryptography research for me. And today, tested the new workflow on our code for Subspace desktop. I verified that it works on macOS, Windows, and Ubuntu for all the source code. Again, only thing fails is the macOS signing. And Nazar suggested simplifying the farmer restart logic when I submitted the node restart PR. I also did that, and we'll submit another PR about that. And lastly, I organized the GitHub issues. Some of the issues were outdated, needed some up-to-date descriptions, or their status was not up-to-date. And so now all the issues in the GitHub should be up-to-date.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of progress. Thank you. Any comments on the team? All right, Ved, what about you?
Hey everyone. Last week finished some to-dos for light client header verification. There's the last one there. Post that, I spent some time looking at Substrate Connect. I've initiated some discussions with the developers, not so positive responses, but I do have some progress on that. We'll discuss more during the protocol sync. Was that domain discussions with Jeremiah and Lusheng. This week, continue the same discussions as well. And then, yeah, decide a path for Substrate Connect. I have a call with Nazar later later today. Maybe we have some more discussion on that. And also, now that the header verification for Lightning is done, maybe I'm looking to see if we can already start working on the palette light client and then get it done, because that's much more straightforward than the rest of other things.
Okay, that sounds good. Any comments? All right, Justin.
Yeah. So last week had to continue to work on upgrading the support progress or the support plan with the support team. Had a meeting with them to come discuss some things and game plan for plans moving forward. My biggest focus last week was localization. I was able to get Russian localization enabled on the website. So now if you go to ru.subspace.network, it'll automatically load it translated for you. Currently working on getting the automatic translations verified and improved by the ambassador team through another process that we're also using for that. So that'll be something I focus on at the beginning of this week. Also have an update to the documentation from the new snapshot that was released last week that I'll be pushing through a PR this morning. Just didn't get a chance to submit it at the end of last week there. And also just a minor update to the global Discord channels, just trying to improve it, make it a little bit more scalable for the community as we move forward. And yeah, just continue to work on some of those objectives as I move into this week.
Yeah, only after comment from, I believe it was Ozgan, I noticed that we actually have translations on the website now. It's cool. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, well, and we'll start adding more languages too once we kind of get the process streamlined.
So on my side, talking about the code, there was a change for the way we are including one WASM runtime in another. The way we did it before really worked in all cases everywhere except CI for the desktop application for some reason. And there was one suggestion on the Rust forum from one guy that there is actually a way to kind of export some of the information from the dependencies upwards as environment variables. So we did that to expose the path for the execution runtime, so we can catch that and include that file in the consensus runtime, and that way it works everywhere. So that was an interesting fix. And there was one small issue discovered after we made the first snapshot, so we made another snapshot after that. There was also a pull request related to networking merged in Substrate upstream, so I submitted another one with companions for Polkadot and Cumulus. That other one makes the network service like major interface for interacting with networking, basically modular. It just splits one single data structure into multiple traits, so we can implement those traits however we like. We can wrap the original networking, we can replace it. We can basically implement a completely different networking implementation as long as we satisfy those traits. They are still derived from the original networking implementation in Substrate, so they're like really kind of specific. However, that's the first step, and we can move from there once it merged. So hopefully soon, though the previous pull request took over 2 weeks, so we'll see how it goes. And another major initiative was to create the contribution document. Unless there are any new comments, I'll merge it today. But basically everyone, I think, reviewed that. And that will be a starting point for us moving forward for both internal team and external contributors. And so far, I think that's it, except like a bunch of pull request reviews. Any questions, comments about that?
Yeah, for the contribution guide, I was thinking of we can replicate it in the Subspace desktop repo as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think we can actually share a few of those. So we have Rust formatting config, and we'll be extending that. And we also, believe, have some links enabled that we can also share, because some of those suggestions or like recommendations in the contributing guide are actually enforceable on the code style level in Rust, as Ivan pointed out. So you can just flip some options on, and that way we can ensure that it will never pass CI. So it will be easier to manage expectations. Okay. Arthur, Jeremiah, do you have anything to share today?
Yeah, Nizar, the way it's going to work going forward is Arthur is going to give an update on the product side and what's happening. And then just as usual, I'll give my updates after the recording.
Okay. We cannot hear you, Arthur.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Updates here for the pre-release testing. We have a forum now available, so I highly encourage everyone that's doing the pre-release testing, open up a topic or issue if you have a ticket for us to take a look at. And then I'll be looking at the code signing that we've been talking in the product channel as well. And that's it.
Awesome. All right, I think that's it for our team. Ivan is unfortunately not here today, but might be next time. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.